Welcome to Urbane Legends, the podcast about urban legends and how to act in a courteous and refined manner, but much less about that. Here's your hosts, Neil and Chris.
Welcome to Urbane Legends, the podcast about urban legends, but to an almost complete extent, etiquette. I am door-to-door bath mat salesman, Chris Flynn, and with me, as always, is a man who was recently put on the government watch list for cool guys. It's...
That'd be Neil Herbert, which you'll know because you're studying that watch list, I'm sure.
Oh, chance of
me and the Fonz.
You, the Fonz.
You can tell how cool I am by the fact that my reference is around 40 years out of date.
Okay, so Neil, how have you been since we last discussed the exciting and terrifying world of urban legends?
I've been doing all right, yeah. I've been keeping my eyes open.
Yeah?
Doing a bit of investigation, yeah. You know.
Yeah. You see much? Or are you keeping that close to the chest?
You know what I don't want to reveal.
Oh, is that because of that book you're writing, Chariots of the Neils?
It could be that book's already been optioned into a Netflix series, Chris.
Really?
Could be.
Who's playing you? Clooney?
These things take a long time to iron out on the details, but
right. Is it about our paranormal investigations? Oh,
not liberties.
Who's So Clooney's playing you, I assume, because of your relationship with him.
Yeah.
Who's playing me? The guy who played Steptoe's dads?
You're going to be largely CGI.
I am quite unique looking.
Yeah. They're doing their best. They're renting out a supercomputer now. They're going to see what they can do. Am I kind of your bumbling robot sidekick in it? Bumbling sidekick, definitely.
Not a robot.
No.
Have you
part demon, part apparition?
Oh, nice. So I'm dead. So it's like Randall Hopkirk or something.
Yeah, Randall Hopkirk is exactly.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So have you written my well-known catchphrase into it?
Couldn't possibly live without the well-known catchphrase, which of course I've not forgotten.
Yeah, of course. The soil is fertile here, I believe.
Oh, that was it. Wasn't the soil is rich. Okay.
Well, I mean, it
same meaning, isn't it? Same meaning. And I'll tell you what also is very rich, fertile soil. The amount of etiquette that you've still got to learn, of course, Neil. Oh,
How's
you just pick up those acorns and then hope that oaks will one day grow. Oaks of politeness and social compatibility.
Have you been RSVPing less this week, or less things that you're going to turn up to?
I turned up to something. I thought that was...
Oh, nice. Where'd you go to?
Church Fair.
Church Fair? Very nice.
I wasn't invited, but,
Oh, okay.
I was on the prowl for any satanic apparitions. I didn't go down to where I left.
Did you have a moody hot dog?
I was eating one at the time.
Yeah.
I may have, I had kind of one of those bottles of Lucasade, like your lad from Rabsy Nesbitt of a pocket as well. I mean, it was very much a Jamesy kind of encounter.
Yeah, mate,
it was someone who sounds like me. Yeah, exactly.
What's the name of that book that we've both read? And it's got the guy who's always eating hot.
Confederacy of Dunces.
Confederacy of Dunces. Well, you like that character?
Oh yeah, that's another parallel you could definitely make. Yeah.
It's a very good book if anyone hasn't read it.
Banging on about scholasticism and Boethus.
Did you?
I have actually got the consolation of philosophy.
Very nice. Did you enter the raffle or the tombola and get some?
I didn't stick around long enough for that.
No, so you didn't get any warm ginger wine or anything nice like that, or
a very over milked cup of tea and a stale biscuit.
Is that when you felt
if you wanted something dry and pointless, I'd eat the fucking host. I said.
Ooh.
Yeah, bringing it to the man.
You were feeling
kind
faint.
Of spice,
yeah. Did you have a go in? Did you get to go in the fire engine with your little hat on? Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling.
There was a queue of kids, so obviously like the smaller, weaker ones, I pushed out of the way, but some of the bigger ones ganged up on me and gave me a beating.
And then That's when they gave you a hot sweet tea and a biscuit.
Yeah, we're back. I started screaming about lawsuits.
Did you have a go at that thing where you throw darts at playing cards and then you win like a can of warm Coke or whatever?
Churches that you'd be beaten.
What, a printer fates?
I went to church when I was a kid. There was none of this fun.
I think it was.
I think
it was school fate. I'm imagining they're similar.
Oh right, yeah. I imagine, yeah, probably. No, there wasn't. There wasn't any darts. It's T-sharp in GSL. also, remind you of the horns of Satan. Kind of that.
Or Cupid's arrow, which is obviously looking back to pagan days. So.
And it's invoking you for sin. Procreation, that's all it's for.
But you had a nice time. You're glad you got big.
I'm more ashamed of my genitals than I was before I walked in.
I didn't know that was possible.
I feel like we all got something out of it. Yeah, I did some learning.
So, Neil, when you were a kid, your parents probably told you pointing at people is rude, did they?
Well, I was pointing at them, yeah.
Accusingly.
Can't believe they came out of that, I used to say.
That was true long before they passed on their advice, and it remains so. But why? Slate's gentleman scholar, Troy Patterson, Slate is obviously some kind of wankers magazine or something, explained...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you've got it, yeah. You've got a subscription.
Yeah, I've got a subscription. I've had for the last 10 years. that's how I got on the cool list or whatever it was.
He explains
that everything I know from Slate and GQ, obviously.
Tatler. This rule dates to the primitive days when pointing the finger was considered to be to administer a hex, apparently, and its conspicuousy to risk attracting the attention of a stranger who might reply to you with an evil eye. In more recent time, the gesture has evolved into serving as an assignment of blame or accusation, making the target of the pointed finger suddenly reduced to an object. If they notice you pointing, they will almost instinctively assume it's not for a positive reason. Even as forms of communication is involved, pointing continues to signal disrespect.
Way around that, Chris. Just give them the gun fingers.
Wow, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so interesting that used to be that easy to give hexes. You'd have thought it'd be a bit more to it than just pointing at someone. Everyone must have been hexed up all the time.
See, like any trick, it sounds simple, but you've got to have the confidence to pull it off.
Like the gun fingers.
Yeah, you go up there. Yeah, exactly. You go up there and you start pointing the finger and someone doesn't drop dead, then,
might get the evil eye.
You're going to get an evil eye, you can get mugged off.
Yeah. So that's interesting. It's interesting that where that comes from.
I'd say allegedly, because that would be very much prehistory. So I think
people gave hexes in the Middle Ages, didn't they?
Well, certainly they didn't. I'm just saying to say that
I hex people now.
People's dislike of being pointed at comes down to a sort of genetic memory of fucking being hexed. I'm convinced by that, if I'm being honest. But there you go.
Yeah, I think people just don't like being singled out.
Yeah. Just pointing at people is quite rude. Yes, fair enough.
Well, here you go, Neil. This one's a good one. I don't know, you've fallen foul of this a few times during your Playboy lifestyle. When on a date, if you ask, you pay. Gender roles have evolved quite a bit in the last decade, and many of the rules that once served as guidelines have balanced out. But one thing hasn't changed. The person who made the invitation to the date should foot the bill. This is regardless of age or gender, says Geordie R.R. Smith of Mannersmith Etiquette Consulting. Fucking hell. Traditionally, the rule may have been that the man should pay, but in the old days, i.e. a couple of decades ago, it was usually the man who was expected to do the inviting on a date. This obsolete rule is also ignored by same-sex couples. Well, it would have to be, wouldn't it? Now, as asking has ceased to be strictly a male domain in heterosexual relationships, the rule has been clarified, and it doesn't just go for romantic outings. The clarity of obligation allows the guest to accept without fear of expense, says Smith. For example, a wealthy friend may ask me to join her for a Broadway show. Later, I would reciprocate by inviting her out to lunch at McDonald's of my choosing, well within my price range.
He just sounds like a grifter.
He didn't say McDonald's, he said restaurant, but I put McDonald's in for...
fair enough. Yeah,
comedy effects.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't know if I buy that.
No, I don't.
That sounds like absolute bollocks to me.
Yeah, I think
fair enough. You could offer, or if you were inviting someone along to something and you know they didn't have the money, or whatever that might be, then yeah, you might offer to pay. But I don't think that you're obligated as soon as you invite someone to something to pay for both of you. Not sure about that.
No, I think it's also, and this might just be my perception based on every encounter I've ever had, but I think at best, if you're on a date with a lady, they'll go halvers with you at best. But even if they invite you, then you're expected to at least offer to pay.
Yeah, exactly. Wouldn't expect them to pay the whole thing, to be honest with you.
No, it'd be nicer, wouldn't it? I mean it makes no difference. No one asks me out, so it doesn't make any difference. So, but yeah, I'm not. I mean, that sounds. It sounds nice, but I'm not sure how it works in reality. I mean, we've invited each other to stuff before, not on a date, or
well, that's what it is, because it's just gotten really awkward because we just keep waiting for the other one to pay us back and get even, and then we can start a futile relationship. But then someone's always down.
We normally
we won't go halves.
Yeah, we normally just
apply this rule just too rigidly.
If one of us gets a couple of tickets for something, unless it's something that's like cheap and it doesn't matter, then like we'll just pay the other one back, won't we?
Yeah, exactly. Not bothered about the money, to be honest with you. Just don't think that's a rule.
I agree. So there's the etiquette, one which is useful because now I know how to put hexes on people. That's what I'm taking from that. And the other one which I'm not sure works in real life.
Well, no, because you could threaten to hex people if they don't pay for you. You print out that rule, you print out that etiquette, and you go, "Well, I'm sorry you're so rude, but obviously you're paying for this, and if you're not, I'm going to hex you." Things again.
Sorry,
and then you explain to the police. Apparently, it is.
Well, with
well, he was trying to show his progressive bona fides by going bona fides by. Well, obviously, if it's two men, then this is not.
So today's episode probably a bit more exciting than the Black Volga, I would suggest, and it's one which had hit the headlines, but 20 years ago in 2001. So, and I'm going to open up with an article in The Guardian about it, and the legend is the Monkey Man of Delhi. So already it's making my heart bleed.
Did you drive around in a Black Volga?
We'll find out, won't we? Find out. So here we go. From The Guardian, which has been giving news for 200 years. Residents in Delhi were last night bracing themselves for another night of fear and sleeplessness following a series of bizarre attacks by the Indian capital's answer to a very nasty horror film, The Mysterious Monkey Man. The Monkey Man, who is between 4 and 5 feet tall, has a monkey-like face. I mean,
you would expect that. Well, he's got the face of a griffin. He's not a griffin man then, isn't he, to be honest with you?
Strikes between midnight and 4 a.m. He's pounced on almost 20 victims during the past 5 days. God, he's a busy bastard, isn't he?
He's a light sleeper as well, isn't he? Yeah. Do you reckon he's been out clubbing?
Yeah.
Do you reckon it's bed?
It could be pissed.
You're fucking negging so many pills. Because you would think
he's only little, isn't he?
He's quite heavy, isn't he? Yeah.
Leaving them with deep...
He's between 4 and 5 foot. Definitely terrifying.
He used to be 6 foot before all the drugs.
Yeah.
Somehow.
He shrinks you by 1 to 1.5 feet. It's well known.
Leaving them...
Sean Ryder.
Basketball player. Yeah, he used to be in Harlem Globetrotters. Till he got into Happy Pills.
The Manchester music.
Yeah, they were doing... the Harlem Globetrotters were doing an exhibition match at the Manchester Exhibition Centre in Salford, and then they went to the Hacienda afterwards, and they never saw him again.
As Bryce Robertson III said to him, "You're just a general now." Is it the Generals they play? I can't remember.
Probably.
I've never seen the Harlem Globetrotters.
I've only seen them in cartoons. Right, so the attacks for the last 5 days, leaving them with deep scratch marks and gouges on their arms and necks. The police have received complaints from people sleeping on roofs or in open near the city slums. Sleeping on roofs.
Well, I guess if you're sort of, because it's quite a popular city, isn't it, Delhi? So
it's just got
I guess and very warm of an evening. So if it's not raining, I guess might be an open air bedroom situation.
Yeah, well, it could just be very poor because it's slums, isn't it?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
He's also elusive.
Yeah, so if it's a warm night, you might just decide to sleep outside,
Yeah.
Rather than cram everyone into a room or something. I don't know.
So he's also elusive, slipping away into the darkness after his attacks. Some victims say he wears a helmet. Others insist that he sports metal claws and has a shaggy black hide and possibly roller skates.
Oh yes. Oh, look, come on, we're gonna have to pause and unpick some of that. So the helmet, I mean, that could be some sort of mind control device, couldn't it? So that's good. That's excellent.
Harnesses vortexes.
Yeah. So you can jump from universe to universe, just looking for
the poorest people to cut.
Like hanging out Delhi. Yeah, well, he's usually off doing some like Planet of the Apes shenanigans, but he likes visiting Delhi for a bit of a holiday.
With a stab up. So you wear a helmet.
Plenty of scratching opportunities. Roller skating on the roof. A helmet comes in handy there.
I mean, at least he's safety conscious. So in metal claws, and he has a shaggy black hide. So,
well, I mean, isn't that just a monkey?
Yeah, but monkeys. Well, I mean, I know some monkeys roller skate, but I mean, not all.
No, not roller skating. The shaggy black hide. I mean, yeah, monkeys are hairy, but I mean, isn't shaggy black hide just a monkey? I don't know.
Well, I guess this is what's making him the monkey man of Delhi, rather than just the disco throwback stabber from Delhi.
Well, at the moment, it just sounds to me like somebody's dressed an infuriated monkey, just strapped a knife to a monkey, a helmet, and some roller skates.
It sounds like the kind of thing that Lenny Kravitz would dress like, with a big fur jacket on, and roller skates, helmet. He's out there fashion wise, isn't he? He's a very cool guy. I don't know if he has metal claws. Maybe you could have them. He wears a lot of jewellery.
Did used to be known as the Wolverine of mediocre man's rock, so I never knew why, but that can explain it.
Yeah. And he was banned from India, wasn't he? Of course, and also
something went on. We don't know
roller
what.
rinks around San Padre. So,
no rules, but you don't strap blades on. Come on.
We're having a roller disco here, mate. Why do you keep slashing the back of people's legs? Because they can roller skate better than me, man. All right, Danny. So the roller skates, they're a fun addition to this. Roller skating on roofs. I mean, good. At least one.
I mean, you had me at Monkey Man, but when you strap some rollerblades to his feet, then that's just.
I mean, it
takes it up at a level for sure.
Helmet, roller skates. At least one man died after tumbling off a building in panic when his neighbour cried, "The Monkey Man is here!" So that's a shame, isn't it?
Again, that could have just been Ben. Before you go leaping into the pot of his yeah, too fucking right.
Have you got any offers? Despite the sightings, however, police remain unsure whether he is, in fact, a monkey. We contacted Delhi Zoo authorities, and the expert says there's no simian that would ever attack without provocation, Suresh Joy, Delhi Joint Police Commissioner, said. We have conducted medical examination of the victims, and nothing concrete has been found. Doctors say the bites are animal bites and not from a human, Mr. Roy said. But there are some people who have also said that the people use iron claws and teeth.
I mean, surely you tell the difference between like a scratch from a blade and an animal bite. Also, I'm thinking, simians don't normally get strapped into rollerblades and a helmet, so that might, I might kick off.
I mean, maybe they've made an evolutionary leap.
Maybe they've infected him with rage virus in 28 days. later.
Not seen, unfortunately.
That monkey was, it starts off with basically it's a monkey's infected. I don't know why the scientists were making rage virus.
So for military,
probably. Board, military applications.
But there was to inject pigmen.
Well-meaning animal rights activists unleash the plague upon the earth by freeing this rage-filled monkey.
Shows you, doesn't it? Just shows you.
Yeah.
Don't free animals.
I break the law. It's there for a reason.
So the Monkey Man began his reign of terror at the weekends in the poor colonies of East Delhi. He has since struck so many times across the capitals that some officers now believe there could be more than one Monkey Man. Oh, Monkey Gang. Youths armed with axes and sticks, meanwhile, have started patrolling the streets, and right-wing Hindu activists, which is a weird sentence, have taken up strategic positions with swords and scimitars.
They're not messing.
The creature has its hands on my thighs when I woke up. I looked up. It looked like a langur, which is a type of monkey. Yunus, who lives in a suburb of Krishnanagar, said last night, when Reena, my mother, picked up a broomstick, it jumped out of the balcony. Delhi residents, it seems, are not the first victims of this phenomenon. A scratcher known as Spring-Heeled Jack, who we have already looked into, appeared in London in 1837. He too had ironclad fingers. Didn't read anything about that. Glowing eyes, yes. Wore dark clothes and scratched his victims. He was never found. So, and that's from The Guardian, which is a reputable source.
As we were looking into this, Chris, I'll tell you one thing that did stand out to me, which is great. And I've not had a chance to actually watch it yet, but they've actually made a movie of this situation. So there's the Bollywood film called Delhi 6, right, featuring our Monkey Man. So, he's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix. Pretty mainstream, isn't it, then? So on the 13th of May 2001, 15 people suffered injuries ranging from bruises to bites and scratches. On the 15th of May 2001, a pregnant woman fell down some stairs, fleeing after a neighbour shouted they'd seen the Monkey Man. Seems to be a lot of people falling over when people are sort of shouting it, like boy who cried wolf.
Yeah, it sounds like a bit of sort of mass hysteria or something. As people are worried about. It's a funny one to sort of have a panic about, isn't it? Because I say a monkey going around. I suppose if it's got a blade strapped to its paws, that's a bit terrifying. Yeah, you're not going to outrun it if it's on roller skates. Yeah, I was thinking rollerblades. I think it just says roller skates, doesn't it? So
yeah.
Some reason I just like that idea of like some early 90s like gang. They used to do rollerblading, didn't they?
Like in the Warriors or whatever.
Yeah, that was what we thought was terrifying.
Really, yeah, where they were all dressed as like baseball players or something.
neon seats. It was a while before The Wire showed us what actual street life looked like.
The 1980s multi-ethnic gangs, which definitely exist. So this is, it's not funny really, but a 4 foot tall wandering Hindu sadhu was beaten up by an angry mob who mistook him for the Monkey Man. So
see, that's double injury though, isn't it? Because you're kind of like, oh come on guys, really?
Just short.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm only like and I'm quite short, but for fuck's sake, it looks like a monkey. Come on.
On the 18th of May 2001, a van driver was set upon and sustained multiple fractures in another case of mistaken identity for a Monkey Man. Fucking hell.
How are you confusing a human being with a monkey man?
Who's driving a van?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is not fucking a Clint Eastwood movie. All the descriptions so far very much sound to me like, an animal that's escaped from the zoo.
Yeah.
I know they're saying simians wouldn't attack. Fine, but I don't know. Maybe it's some other animal, but they sound like animal attacks. Yeah. It sounds like very much like an animal. I don't see how they're confusing this with
humans.
With humans. Very strange. But again, people looking just for someone to attack.
Yeah.
Bunch of lads get out, done a bit of gack. Oh, he looks like a fucking monkey, man. And we should point out there are some unfortunate connotations to this, which you want to very much avoid. But yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like a load of people from Luton are attacking these people. These are other people in Delhi attacking people from Delhi. So further sightings were reported in Kanpur in February 2002 and New Delhi in July 2002, later describing the monkey-like machine that sparkled red and blue lights. So there's a robot one now. One anonymous witness even claimed...
Is this a mad scientist who's getting madder by the year?
I hope so. One anonymous witness even claimed the monkey man had stolen his cell phone, which just sounds like insurance fraud.
Yeah, that's insurance. That's a scam. Yeah, I'm going to leap on the back of this monkey man hysteria.
So, shining a bright light in the monkey man's face was said to ward him off, as it renders his night vision glasses ineffective. Fucking hell.
What? Sorry, no, wait. Roll back. Sorry, he's now
wearing night goggles, night vision goggles. He's pretty tooled up, isn't he, for a monkey?
Yeah.
Roller skates, helmet, night vision goggles, metal claws and teeth, firing out sparks. It's also thought that throwing water on the simian's chest would short-circuit his motherboard heart.
Where are you reading this from? This sounds like the Weekly World News or something website. So we're to believe this is a robot now?
Well, some people do. In similar fashion, it was believed that the creature could turn invisible with the press of one button on his panel. This is a really meandering one. This one.
It's written by a lunatic. I'll be honest with you, I'd watch Robo Monkey, definitely. Yeah. I have seen a film once called Robo Vampire. That was pretty good. It was. It's basically two different films spliced into one. They've taken a very bad Indonesian gangster film and then just got a guy who's basically wrapped some tinfoil around himself. And the great thing is, as well, I don't know if you know, you've ever seen Chinese vampires? They or Indonesian vampires, they hop.
All right.
Part of the folklore in the East, apparently, the vampires hop around.
What, on one leg?
Very cinematically, very hilarious. No, not just like two legs. They just pogo around all over the place.
I'll just jump a lot.
Don't ask me why. Yeah.
Jumping lads. I wonder if that's...
Yeah, because for some reason, Robocop was fighting vampires and Indonesian gangsters. I'm not quite sure. It wasn't heavy on plot, I'll be honest with you. You came for the Robocop, stayed for the Robocop.
I wonder if that's anything to do with Spring Hill Jack. Because there was a Chinese community in East London at the time. Maybe some of that folklore
could have been a vampire from the East.
Could be.
You don't know. We didn't explore that at the time. But
we didn't explore it at the time. No, I think we pretty much settled on it with some posh twats.
Yeah, that's definitely where I'd still go for. But
so the monkey man is believed today to be the product of mass hysteria,
or some very advanced animatronic monkey-like warrior who can turn invisible. I mean, that kind of technology is toting around. You know, that's...
Yeah, you'd use it to attack poor people.
World class, yeah. That's like some...
So, I mean, there's nothing... The only thing which I'm reading at the moment, well, he's a robot, possibly, or he's possibly the... some suggest Monkey Man is an avatar of the Hindu deity Hanuman.
Okay. So, not terribly familiar with the Hindu deity.
Well, there's a lot of them, isn't there?
Well, yeah.
Jesus is one of them. I just plugged him in. Let's have a look at Hanuman. So that's like sort of the monkey one.
Well, there isn't there. Was it Journey to the West? There's a famous tale, isn't there, about a was it Monkey Pixie and
oh yeah,
that's the other one.
Which
they take the scrolls from India of Buddhism to India to China or something. Tripitaka.
Not sure if he's the same one. Let's have a look.
Remade as a mildly mediocre Netflix series, Chris. Of course, there was a classic 70s one.
Yeah, I can't remember if I watched it. Probably.
It was all right. It was very kind of like those kind of Xena warrior princess type stuff.
All right. Okay.
You know, that kind of tongue in cheek. We know this is cheap. Yeah, been filming a lot outdoors because we don't have any sets.
I'm not sure if he's the same one. I think there's probably a few of them. There's lots of different monkeys in India.
Yeah, no, I think. I think that one wasn't the one from Journey to the West. Isn't actually a god. I think he was. Well, I mean, didn't he? He was sort of like in spite of the gods, and they punished him for his arrogance, didn't they? They buried him under a rock for 1,000 years or something.
Nice.
He broke into heaven and stole jade thing. I don't know, jade scroll or something. We've not invoked whatever the Hindu equivalent of Satan is yet, but we've got gods involved, so that's a good promising start. Although it's more about duality, isn't it? I guess in Hinduism, I'm not terribly familiar, as with many things, but less of the concept of.
Yeah, no, there isn't.
Isn't it? The concept was it Shiva? Is it the goddess of destruction? But she's very much a balancing force. It's not like a good or an evil
goddess of destruction and rebirth, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, it's just a part of the cycle of nature. He says, as if he understands this. But
so, I think at this point, Neil, what we need to do is dig deep into our own knowledge of the strange and unusual, and see what we think's going on with this monkey man, and why such a short burst of activity. Break his roller skates.
I'm going to put that out there, Chris, see if you can try it on for size. What military experiment, guys?
Yeah, the Indians spent a lot on their military.
5 foot, so he's stocky. He's mobile. He's got roller skates or possibly wheels on his feet.
Yeah.
Helmet, so he's not crashed anywhere. Blades, so he's not going to run out of ammo. He's just gets straight in there. Bit of hand-to-hand combat. Been training him up. Just it's new. We know that the armies in the past have tried to use animals.
Yeah, pigmen.
Maybe something. Yeah, exactly. Breeding pigmen, strapping nuclear weapons to dolphins.
Yeah. Infecting goldfish with smallpox.
Yeah, they'll give everything a try. And then they just covered it up.
You think he got away?
I think he got out because he was breaking out for his freedom. He was very much like the 70s Hulk TV series. He just wanted to find a home. But I reckon he was a fighter for justice. He'd see somebody being attacked, and then he'd go out and sort of fight the people, on the roof.
So you think the people who received his ape justice were themselves in the middle of a crime?
Some kind of crime, yeah.
I think he's a vigilante.
I think a crime-fighting superhero, possibly with an endoskeleton of invisibility.
So what are we thinking about? So it took a bit of a twist with maybe he's a robot.
Once you start involving robot parts and that he can turn himself invisible, I mean, we can't quite decide whether we're in fantasy or sci-fi territory there, can we? But I don't know. I mean, I'll tell you what, Blade Runner would have been a lot more fun if they'd had a monkey knocking around with Roy Batty.
If he was trying to switch off.
Go to Tyrrell's and just kind of like, if you can't make me live, at least what about Pogo?
Yeah.
Oh, Pogo, you burnt so bright.
What's that? I've been to 1,000 suns or something like that.
Oh, he does give that speech at the end, doesn't he?
I get that mixed up with
Imagine sea beams off the 10-hour gate or something. I don't know.
I always get that mixed up with Dr. Manhattan's speech in Watchmen, which is quite similar. Yeah,
I think he was heavily inspired by it.
Yeah.
A bit like the whole thing with Rorschach being obviously a rip-off of Mad Max. They changed the guy to the...
What?
Isn't there when Rorschach becomes Rorschach, he said the night he becomes Rorschach, he handcuffs some nonce to a thing, sets fire to the kitchen and then burns the house up.
Yeah.
Well, that's like the ending of Mad Max.
How is it?
He handcuffs Johnny the boy to a vehicle.
Johnny the boy?
Yeah, no, this is a tape cutter. Johnny the boy. Kill him, Johnny the boy. I love Mad Max. But yeah, so Johnny the boy, he handcuffs him to this car, sets up a trap, so it's going to blow up in like 10 minutes. He's like, you could try and saw through the chain, but that'd take 20 minutes. You go through your leg in about 5 if you're quick, and then runs off. And then you just blowing up and you can't be kidding, you're a cop, you can't do this to me. Back when we could enjoy Mel Gibson in movies.
Yeah. What would be your all-American name? I think mine would be Chud's Wigwam.
Chet Eagle Blaster.
Chet Eagle's fine. Don't need to add more.
Get Eagle Blast in the third. Yeah.
A good way of coming up with a good way of coming up with sort of American names is to do one of those sort of like American first names that we don't have in the UK, like Scooter, right?
Yeah.
And then Chubbed, those kind of things. Chip, and then just your second name, just choose any state. That's a good.
Yeah, it could work. Yeah. Chet Maine, that's not bad.
Yeah. Phoenix, Mississippi. Yeah, that it can just.
Washington, yeah, no, that works.
Yeah.
Chet, New Hampshire, not so good.
Scooter, Florida.
Oh, that's all right. That's pretty good.
Don't know what's another American name that we don't have. It's quite a lot. They use my surname quite a lot. They use Flynn as a first name. Flynn, California. Oh. Yeah, so that's a good. If anyone out there needs to think of an American character for anything, you can use that. Just think of an American first name and then just choose a state. That's top tip there for any aspiring screenwriters.
I mean, you're doing half the work yourself by just to come up with an American name, use an American name and an American state.
Yeah, but I mean, it always works. Yeah, but it doesn't work with cities. It's got to be states. Just it works with some cities, but not all.
It's not going to work with New York then, which is both a state and a city.
Yeah, that's true. New York, maybe that's the one which doesn't work.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Nebraska works. Nevada, Portland. Yeah.
What did New York used to be called? Was it something New Holland or something?
Well, Manhattan.
By the Dutch.
Yeah, Manhattan used to be New Amsterdam. And I think New York was New Holland.
It's Chet Amsterdam. That's pretty good.
Well, that's where Harlem. But that's where Harlem comes from, doesn't it? Because Harlem's obviously a town in Holland.
Yeah.
Originally. Yeah. Anyway, we're going a bit off topic here because we've run out of Monkey Man facts.
There's not a lot to say about the Monkey Man, is there? He's a pleasurable little character. Well, apart from all the attacking of people, but the occasional death.
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, I mean, people did actually get injured and stuff. So I
think you're in a really popular city. There's kind of like just
they're going to be living cheek to jowl, aren't they? And
yeah, it's this rumour goes around, and you just kind of like and it's one of those things as well. I'm sure, like in the if you were just being woken up, like this is having a lovely kid on the roof or whatever, and you've just been woken up, you're in that kind of subliminal state where it's you're between just
I sometimes wake up, even though I've lived here for 2.5 years. I sometimes wake up in my bed and I'm not sure where I am.
No, exactly.
Which way is the door to go to the toilet, sort of thing.
Even if you didn't believe it, you'd be a bit suggestible, wouldn't you? And just in that sort of foggy state, just half asleep, half awake. So yeah,
and especially if you've eaten a lovely big Indian meal, because that can give you weird dreams, I find, because it takes quite a lot of digesting because of the all the different spices and stuff. And also, you eat a lot, don't you, if you eat an Indian meal? I'm sure people in India don't, but it's a real treat for us, isn't it? So,
absolutely. I think, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Well, I might get a curry tonight now we said that. I've got a microwave on in the freezer because I'm a single man doing what I can.
I do like I don't know.
It's lovely. I quite like a vindaloo because I quite like the heat.
Yeah, I don't know it's too hot, but I quite like the bitterness of vindaloo. Based on a Portuguese stew.
Mm. Well, just have a korma and a bottle of vinegar. That do you?
Yeah, the korma's too mild though. I like korma occasionally, but it's a bit too mild. So I'll go. Although I do like butter chicken, which is quite mild.
Never had that.
Yeah.
Okay, what naan do you have?
Garlic, or possibly a keema naan. They're quite nice. Like a bit of mincemeat inside.
We have a peshwari.
I think actually no. Probably favourite would be like a mixed balti. I know that's not Indian. It's a Birmingham food, but obviously it's Anglo-Indian or Bangladeshi.
Peshwari for me, or garlic and coriander is nice as well.
Yeah,
lovely. So hopefully that's cleared that up for everyone. What Indian food be like. So the Monkey Man, he He had a spate of attacks and then disappeared. Neil thinks he was a military experiment, a super soldier, able to fight in the jungles, but also adapt to urban warfare due to roller skating ability.
The classical mistake they've made, it's like Predator 1 and 2. You keep him fighting in the jungle, he's fine. You put him in a city, it's just not going to work out.
I've not seen Predator 2. What happened? Like, is he not very good?
Well, no, it's just kind of like, it's all right. But the problem is you've replaced Arnold Schwarzenegger, and as much as I love the guy, Danny Glover is not necessarily kind of like going to lead on a Predator film. Yeah. Well, he was good in Lethal Weapon, but he's kind of like, he's the kind of straight man to the crazy cop, isn't he? But, yeah, from mentioned our friend Gibson. But, it's a funny movie. Yeah, there's a load of like, what do you call it, like yardies, gangsters.
Yeah.
And he's kind of like they're having like some sort of gang battle. I think it was. It's like the hottest day in LA or for years. Like a hot summer in LA. It's like the hottest one for years, and it's like gang warfare. And the Predator comes down. It's just like he's like, oh sweet, do a bit of fucking hunting here. So yeah, you
is it a different Predator?
I assume so. Yeah, and Danny Glover actually manages to corner it into a ship, and the guy's like, do you know what? Fair play. Yeah, he gets onto this ship, and there's just like 100 of them, and they're like, just look at him, but they're like, nah, go on, off you pop, lad. Good stuff.
Oh, really?
We recognise a good warrior.
Oh, nice.
That's so died, yeah. They gets back off the ship, and they all fuck off to the moon or whatever.
To be honest,
they all live in the moon.
The hunters from beyond the moon. All right. So they've got a sense of honour. Then.
Oh yeah, they're honourable sportsmen. Well, there is actually a bit as well where he's
like all hunters, they're honourable sportsmen. Like people who hunt foxes, that kind of thing. Badger baiting. Yeah.
I mean, hunting down that giraffe. I mean, that must have been terrifying.
With a Gatling gun.
Yeah, I really admire you for straddling its corpse. Yeah. How many left? Oh, right, brilliant.
People who go to Thailand.
Maybe you feel better about yourself for about 5 seconds.
Throw grenades at cows, that kind of thing. Yeah, all good lads. Yeah.
I'm a bit hypocritical about it. I'm a meat eater, but
but you don't do it for sport.
Yeah, you don't. I don't take selfies of myself with animal corpses. I'm not an aspiring.
Well, you say that, but I've seen plenty of selfies on your Instagram of you with a bucket of KFC. So that's essentially with animal corpses.
Who's the real villain?
I think probably still them.
Barely qualifies as meat, I'll be honest with you, but
Oh, don't say that. That makes.
That's true. I've had a KFC for years, but it's tasty.
It is tasty. It's all that MSG.
Put anything in that much MSG and fried it, I think it would be quite nice. Probably one of my socks under those conditions.
Under most conditions. Right, so Monkey Man, it's either a man that looks a bit like a monkey, like a little lad, who has got himself some knuckle dusters with knives on them, essentially.
Yeah.
Wears a helmet.
He Nightmare on Elm Street and took it a bit too seriously.
Yeah, so it's either that, or it's a monkey that can roller skate, has probably escaped from the military, has the knives again. They seem to be consistent. Or it's some kind of monkey Robocop.
Yeah, or possibly a predator. He might be hunting for sport.
A tiny predator that people have mistaken as a monkey, who's hunting for sport. So it's very short-lived. It seems like people went a bit crazy for it, but I don't know. But we got
a Bollywood movie out of it, so I'll be enjoying that.
Yeah. So I think we should go through our algorithm, which
calculating this week, Chris.
This week, I am going to be calculating it by holding it up against the window and seeing which numbers the many bees and wasps and flies are most attracted to, because I think that there's a lot of inherent wisdom within the natural kingdom.
Yeah,
so I think, so I'm going to sort of crowdsource it out to the insect kingdom, which I think is a sensible approach. So, Neil, you can go first with spookiness.
Yeah, this one isn't very spooky for me. I don't find the idea. I mean, being attacked when you're half asleep, I guess, but no, there's nothing inherently terrifying about a monkey with claws. Especially the roller skates, it became more and more absurd, quite frankly. So yeah, roller skates, and then we start turning invisible. I'd like to see a television show based on his life, but I don't think it's going to be particularly scary.
A sitcom.
Yes, he just wants to make friends. It's like Edward Scissorhands, the simian Edward Scissorhands. He just wants to be chums. He's trying to give everyone a hug, and he just scratches them, and then they run away and jump off buildings.
It'd be a sitcom with him in it, Lee Mack as the neighbour, and Mel Goodrich as his long-suffering girlfriend, I reckon. And they live in a small cul-de-sac in a bungalow just outside of Mansfield, and he's a bus driver.
Yeah, of course he is.
What do you reckon? Do you reckon that's good?
It was like a knowingly ironic update of On the Buses.
Yeah, but with a roller skating robot monkey.
Robot monkey. Yeah.
As the main character, who's it's a real fish out of water tale. Yeah, I think that'd be quite good. What would it be called?
Monkey Business, clearly.
It's a bit obvious, a bit on the nose.
Yeah, doesn't sound like a quality fucking sitcom.
That's all right.
It's lowest common denominator BBC Three show.
Yeah, all right, we'll go with Monkey Business because I can't think of anything better.
They'll lead it in with repeats of 2 pints of lager and a packet of crisps, whatever that thing was called.
Game on.
Bloody hell. To bench.
Okay, so spookiness. Go, Neil. You're not finding it spooky.
Right. One, not spooky at all. Don't find the idea of being attacked by a monkey massively threatening.
They are quite threatening. I've seen monkeys in real life in Indonesia, and they are quite threatening.
Yeah, okay. So, but not spooky. Not spooky. Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, I definitely wouldn't want to tangle with an big ape like a orangutan or something, or gorilla. And I wouldn't exactly want to go toe to toe with a chimpanzee or something either. I reckon they can get
they're really strong. Weigh as much as a female gorilla. It's an interesting fact for you there. So,
if I say so myself.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't think it's particularly spooky. There's nothing supernatural about it, unless it turns out that he is the god Hanuman.
You'd have better things to do, wouldn't you?
Well, not really.
Maybe not. He's a little trickster god, maybe. I don't know.
But, yeah, I mean, it didn't go on for long. There was nothing sort of paranormal about it. The fact that he likes roller skating... I don't, even if it was like at you, but it was a roll, like sort of, doing that kind of disco roller skating where your legs kind of cross over back and forwards. He was doing that towards you. I just think you just submit to the monkey's will. So I think I'm going to give it a 2, just because it could be a trickster god. But yeah, it's not spooky. It's adorable. So believability. A lot of monkeys living in close proximity with humans in India. So that's something. There appears to be quite a lot of short people kicking about. I guess there would be in a country of 1.5 billion people, but there's a lot of people getting beaten up for being the monkey man. So it could be that it was a little lad dressed up, attacking people. I don't know. The fact that the police got involved and there's actually injuries treated by the doctor and stuff that look like bites and different things. I don't know what people would be gaining from lying about it unless they were doing something nefarious and that. So I don't know. The robot stuff is obviously highly believable.
Yeah, that's me sold on that.
I'm going to give it a believability. I think, because it's at night and there's monkeys kicking about and stuff. I mean, I don't know. They say monkeys don't attack humans, but who knows? There could be, you occasionally get like
big simian to cover it up.
Yeah.
Big zoo. I'll let you know you take your life into your hands every time you go through the doors.
Every time you sleep on the roof. So I'm going to give it a 3 for believability. A generous 3. Neil?
Yeah, kind of similar. That I could see there might be some animal attacks, possibly even, something escaped from a zoo or something, although you think they would have found that, or I don't know, or maybe there's a few billionaires knocking around Delhi, I suspect, so there might be somebody who's just decided to buy some wild animals, and maybe they've just probably bothered to care for it, or just indifferent and just escaped. Who knows?
Give it some claws and send it out on the streets.
Yeah. Let's dress it like Freddy Krueger and give it the invisibility armour. But the research is just... I said. So, yeah, I don't know. No, I think a lot of this was just kind of like hysteria. It seems like it just kind of came up and just dashed down just as quickly. So possibly some people got attacked by animals, but yeah, no, low believability for me. They never really found anything. So I think, yeah, give it a 3.
Oh, generous 3. So, Reach. Well, I found it on the internet. I can't remember what I was looking for. So there's bits and bobs about it. It seems like it was quite a big deal in India, but not really anywhere else. 2001, so it's 20 years old. So
yeah, that's a bit of a flash in the pan, really.
Bit of a flash in the pan, but I mean, there's still stuff about it.
Still being talked about, yeah, that's true.
And there's the film, of course.
Yeah.
And the reach geographically isn't massive, but the reach as in the amount of people who would have heard about it because India's such a populous country is probably fairly big. So, tough one, isn't it? I'm going to give it a 4 for Reach. So, Neil, what are you
reckon? One of those rare occasions where we agree. I kind of like a similar argument. I don't see it necessarily still being talked about in another 20 years, but it has been, been a while, and it's, still to find some sources. But that Guardian article was, I think, contemporary with events, so it's not. But I think the Bollywood film is a lot more recent, so they're referencing a historical thing. Obviously, it's probably more of a sort of jokey reference to something that happened in the past. And probably gives it a bit of sense of time and place. It's a bit of an inside joke as well for people who do remember it. One assumes. Don't know, I haven't watched it. But yeah, it's obviously going to been heard by quite a few people. Obviously, the very fact actually as well that it caused such hysteria. I'm going to sort of work as well. So yeah, I'm going to give it a 4.
Okie dokie. That's weird, isn't it? We're kind of agreeing. So, narrative premise. So, I mean, there's not much to it, right? But the fact that there's embellishments around it, having roller skates.
It's all sizzle and no steak, or all sizzle and no sausage, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, the embellishments are wonderful. They could have made it a satanic monkey, the usual lazy nonsense, but they made it an invisible robot monkey.
But they don't really have Satan in India as we do culturally in our monotheistic.
No, and I guess they did make it a potential Hindu trickster god, so that may very well be the Hindu equivalent. I don't know.
So the narrative, I mean the premise, I don't mind, like a roller skating monkey attacker. I don't mind.
What's his motivation? What drives him?
Disco, the death of disco.
Power of disco. Bring back disco.
The narrative, there isn't really one. So I'm going to give it a generous 3 again, and that is simply because of the roller skates, to be honest. Neil, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, there is no narrative, is there? It's just other than what happened in real life, which is kind of interesting, and I think the real life experience. But in terms of the urban myth itself, it's just there is a monkey man out there attacking people, or just again, I don't understand why he's a monkey man. It just sounds like an animal to me for all the descriptions. Although again, So no,
I think it was the roller skating and stuff and his size maybe.
Yeah, I guess. No, there's not really much of a story to it. So I'll bring on a 1 here, but I'm gonna. I think because they brought in the invisible robot, and it's not really much of a narrative. Because of the interesting embellishments, actually, I'm going to go up to a 3.
Oh, so matched again there. Incredible stuff. What's happening, Neil? We'll have to disagree more next time. So that gives the Monkey Man a pretty low 23 out of a possible 80. I don't think that's our lowest, but there was at least some evidence of some sort of attack going on. So so that's the Monkey Man of Delhi. We've managed to spin that out despite there being very little on it. So next episode, we are going to go for something a bit bigger, something which is a bit better known, because we've done a couple of fairly obscure ones, which I've enjoyed doing because I like the obscure ones, and I always, I say learn something, I hear something. I'm not sure what there is to learn, but I enjoy doing them. So we will continue doing these ones, but we're going to mix it up with a slightly larger one for the next episode. And remember, when you're sleeping on your roof and you hear roller skates approaching, please don't have nightmares.
Don't jump off the roof.